Good evening, everyone. Hello, fellow yogis. My name is Daniel from Daniel Lee Yoga. This is Oliver as well. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Tonight, April 15th, we have a level 1 focused Vinyasa Flow class. If you've been familiar with what we've done earlier this week on Monday with the fundamentals, we'll just be building off that a little bit. So hopefully you're ready to join class. There are a couple things I wanted to go over before we get started. Most importantly, as far as the stream, we've had some issues with streaming a couple times, so I'm just going to make sure on my phone that the stream has started. And if you are around and you can just leave a quick comment in the chat, just letting me know that you're good and the chat looks good. Okay, I already see one person letting me know. That's great. And yeah, my phone looks good. Okay, so that's awesome. So just making sure we're all set to go. I appreciate the feedback everyone gives. Um, in case you don't know where we are, we're in Fells Point tonight. We're at Broadway Square. It's a place downtown by the water. You might see this guy rolling by every couple of minutes. Recorded this a couple of days ago. It's nice to just kind of, while we're all stuck inside, to bring a little bit of Baltimore where I film these classes in my home studio to you. So I like little locations like this. If you like these locations or if you like the more tropical or exotic, feel free to give me some feedback or whatnot. Just let me know what works for you. As far as donations, I always like to mention donations if you have any issues. Oh, hi, Lori. Thank you for signing in. If you'd like to give any donations, you can always check the description in the chat. There is a link to Movable Feast. Um, that's where I always direct any kind of donations to go. If you have any questions in class, okay, we got another check-in. All right, perfect, great. Thank you all very much for letting me know. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the chat. Also, afterwards, you can email me or leave a comment on the video. Contact information is in the video description as well. So today, level 1 focus, we're going to be doing more externals building off of Monday. That's really going to open up our hips, firm up our thighs, strengthen them up a little bit, improve our balance, and kind of open up our chest and our shoulders. So I think we're all ready to get started. Last thing I'll remind you, or just mention, is today is one of my cat's birthdays, Coney. It's his 3rd birthday today, so he'll probably make an appearance along with his brother Oliver. But I just have a couple pictures I want to share with them after class. So after we complete class, if you want to stay around for a minute afterwards, I have some just fun pictures to share. So up to you. Let's get started with class. Go ahead and get started on your backs. While you're on your back, go ahead and extend your legs out long, arms down by your sides, palms face up. We'll be here for a minute or two. You can let your knees and your feet fall out to the side. Just take a nice deep inhale and exhale. And we're going to continue breathing, taking nice deep breaths. What I'd like you to do is place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Either hand works. Just do what comes naturally to you. And as you begin to take nice deep inhales and exhales, just bring some awareness to your chest and just feel how it moves as you inhale and exhale. Maybe start to breathe just through your nose if you can. Just settling down from whatever was going on earlier in the day and getting ready for practice here. Taking nice, deep breaths. Okay, go ahead and release your arms down to your sides and hug your knees gently into your chest. Go ahead and wrap your hands either around your shins or your thighs and give a gentle rock from left to right. Very gentle here from side to side. Just starting to wake up that low back. And come back to stillness in the middle. Keep hugging your right knee into your chest. Let's extend and straighten that left leg forward. Bring that left heel to the ground. Once it hits the ground, flex that left foot so those left toes face the ceiling. Now let's switch. Draw that left knee into your chest. Extend and straighten that right leg so the right heel comes to the ground, flexing those right toes. And now let's switch. Right knee comes back into your chest, extending the left leg forward, flexing that left foot. And switch again. Left knee in, right leg straightens, both feet are flexed. Go ahead and keep switching on your breath. If you want, you can inhale as you extend one leg, and exhale as you extend the next. Just keep going on your breath, just nice and gentle. Here we're just waking up the backs of the legs, hamstrings and the hip flexors, just getting them ready for the rest of practice. Going back on your fourth, on your breath. One more time each side. And go ahead and hug both knees back into your chest. Now keep hugging this right knee into your chest. We're going to extend that left leg back out. Bring that left heel to the ground. Flex those left toes. Bring your left palm to that left outer hip. Right palm to the top of that right knee. And let's do some knee circles. So we're just going to draw some circles on the ceiling with our right knee. Try to keep that left foot flexed and keep the left hip bone rooted on the ground. That left palm can help you keep that rooted. Go ahead and switch directions in those rotations. And again, if you feel that left side hip popping up a little bit, maybe decrease your circles slightly. You can go whatever pace works for you. Okay, come back to stillness with that right knee into your chest. And let's switch sides. Hug your left knee into your chest. Extend that right leg forward, right heel to the ground. Flex those right toes. Place your right palm on top of that right hip. Left palm on top of that left knee. And gentle circles here. Starting whichever direction you want to start with. Again, try and keep those right toes flexed. Right hip rooted on the floor. 2 more times this direction. And go ahead and switch directions in those rotations. I like to just imagine drawing a circle on the ceiling. A couple more times here. And come back to stillness in the middle. And hug both knees back into your chest. Just give a nice gentle squeeze. Okay, this time keep your left knee hugged into your chest. Extend your right leg forward. Now, we're going to add the arms to this. So, extend the left arm back with your left knee into your chest. And hold on to your right knee. Hold on to your left knee with your right hand. Now we're going to switch this. So now we're going to draw the right knee into our chest. Extend the left leg forward. Right arm goes back, and then the left palm comes to the right knee. So this left arm is grabbing the right knee, so opposite arm to opposite knee. And then we'll switch on the breath to see if you can draw that left knee in. Right arm comes across, extend that left arm forward, right leg straightens. And then switch. This is more of a mind game than a physical game here. So right knee into your chest, left arm to the right knee, extending the left leg straight, right arm back. Keep going, just switching on your breath. Going as fast or slow as you'd like. Okay, do 1 or 2 more each side. And just pause when you come back to having your left knee into your chest and your right arm across. So you have your left knee into your chest, right arm across on top of that left knee, right leg is straight, left arm is back, straight overhead. Now you're going to gently roll onto your side. So in order to do this, you're just going to gently roll over to the left, keeping that left knee bent, and you're coming onto your left side. So now that you're on your left side, this left knee stays bent. Maybe it can be about a 90-degree angle, with your ankle and your knee here. This left arm is still out straightened, and you're gently resting the left side of your head on top of that left arm. Right leg is still straight, but the inside edge of that right foot comes down to the mat. Now you can use your right hand for balance, so you can bring your right fingertips or your palm to the mat, and we're going to gently lift up that right leg. So here we go. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. We're gently just lifting up to about hip height, and just lowering down. Keep going, 2 more times. One last time here. And release. Okay, we're going to switch to the other side. So, start by rolling back onto your back, hugging that left knee into your chest with the right arm. Now we switch. Right knee comes in, right arm extends out, and you're going to slide onto your right side now. So now that you're on your right side, the right side of your head is on your extended right arm. Keep this right knee bent about a 90-degree angle. Left leg is straight with the side of that foot to the ground. You can use your left arm for balance, fingertips or palm to the mat in front of your face. And let's go ahead and inhale as we lift that left leg. And exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Try and keep those left toes flexed as you lift. And also those toes should point to the side. Do 2 more times this side. Keep that foot flexed. And release. Okay, come onto your back. And hug both knees back into your chest. Okay, we're going to do that same thing, but we're now going to have the option to adjust a little bit. So this one's going to open up our hip a little bit more. If this is too much for you, you can just do exactly what we did. But you're going to have the opportunity to try something a little different here. Okay, so we're going to start the same way. So hug the left knee into your chest. Left arm comes behind. Extend that right leg forward, right leg straightens, and then right hand comes to this left knee. Now keep that, but now bend that right knee back into your chest and roll over on your left side. So we're kind of like where we started, except that right knee is now on top of that left knee. Now, take your right hand, place it in front of your face just like before. So you can do what we did before with the right leg straightened, but if you want to try something different, we're going to open up this right knee. So we're going to keep this right knee bent as we open it up and place the bottom of that right foot to the ground. So as we do that, that right knee is going to face up towards the ceiling. So your left knee is bent at 90 degrees just like before. And now your right knee is facing up with the bend. You can stay here, or if you want to come with me, you're going to press your big toe into the mat and lift your right heel up. Release that heel. Lift that right heel up. And release. Right heel comes up. Release. One more time. Right heel up. And release. Don't worry, this is probably the hardest part of practice. So release that right knee to meet the left. And we're going to switch to the other side. So come back to center. Start by hugging both knees into your chest. Extend the right arm overhead. Left hand grabs that right knee, gently rolling over to your right side. Once you're on your right side here, if you want to do what we did before, you can extend your left leg straight. But if you want to try, you can keep that left knee bent. Place that left hand in front of your face, and then start to open up that left knee, placing the bottom of that left foot on the mat so that the left knee faces up towards the ceiling. Staying here, or if you'd like, you can raise that right heel, press into the ball of that left foot, and exhale, release. Pressing down, lifting the heel, and release that heel to the mat. 2 more times, lifting that heel up, exhale, release. 1 more, lifting that heel up, and exhale, release. Alright, release that left knee back to meet the right. Roll back onto your back. Hug both knees back into your chest one last time. As you're squeezing, bring some awareness to that low back. Are you arching too much? Maybe you can soften that navel in and down. Give a nice little squeeze. And exhale. All right, we're coming up to sit. We're coming to a cross-legged seated position. You can get up whatever way works for you. You can grab the back behind your thighs and just roll up and down your spine a couple times if you want to do that, or if you can just throw your knees off to the side and press yourself up. Either way, we're all going to meet in a cross-legged seated position. Okay, in your cross-legged seat, if you need to sit up on something, if you have trouble keeping yourself up straight, you can sit on a block, you can roll up your mat, whatever works for you. I should have mentioned, I know I put in the chat, but if you have blocks today, they will definitely be helpful, so have them nearby. If you have something similar to blocks in that shape or form, like even like a tissue box, that can help as well. But don't worry if you don't have them, I'll provide modifications along the way. Okay, cross-legged seat. Let's wake up those arms a little bit. So let's inhale, arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, release down to the sides. Inhale, arms up, palms face each other. And exhale, release. Let's add a twist. Inhale, arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, twist to your right, both arms down. Inhale, back to center, both arms up, palms face each other. Exhale to the left. Inhale, back to center, palms face each other. Exhale to the right. Inhale, both arms up, palms face each other. And exhale to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring your hands to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Okay, let's extend our arms out, palms face down, and let's shift left and right while trying to keep your arms shoulder height. We're just going to shift left and right. So you can see how my arms still kind of stay about shoulder height. Let's go ahead and shift left and right. On your time, you can go a little slower, a little faster than me, whatever works for you. Just try and keep both sit bones rooted as you're shifting left and right. Then one more time each side. And come back to center. Okay, release both hands down to the ground. And let's just do a little side lean while we're here. So, inhale, both arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, release that right arm to the ground, either right fingertips or right hand comes to the ground. And extend that left arm up, creating some nice length in that left side of the body. Let's switch to the other side. Come back to center, both arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, release that left arm down, extend that right arm up, creating length in that right side of the body. Switch one more time each side, both arms up, palms face each other. Release that right arm down, extend that left arm up. This time bring some awareness to that right side of the body. No crunching, try and create length there also. Inhale, both arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, release that left arm down, extend that right arm up, create some length in the left side of the body as well. And inhale, both arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, release the hands down to the center of your chest and down to the side. Okay, we're coming into tabletop now. So meet me in tabletop with your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Now, in honor of Coney the cat, we're going to start with some cow cats here. Classic. So make sure your arms are beneath your shoulders. Your wrist creases are lined up with the short edge of your mat, or they can be slightly turned out. Tops of the feet and the knees are hips width distance. So let's inhale as we drop our navel, send our heart forward, look up into cow. And exhale, round the back, separate the shoulder blades, let the head hang heavy into cat. Inhale, round the back, send your heart forward, look up. And exhale, round into cat. Keep going 2 more times on your breath. Sending the heart forward on your cow. Exhaling, rounding the back on your cat. 1 more time on your breath. And just come back to neutral position when you're ready. And we're just going to bring some attention to the wrist here. So this is just a nice simple exercise where we're going to bring the backs of our hands to the floor. So normally in tabletop we have our palms pressing down. So what I want you to do is lift your right hand up, place the back of that right palm to the ground, and see if you can get that entire palm, back of the hand, to the mat. And then release it back to palm on the ground and try that on your left hand. So the back of that left hand, see if you can get that entire back of the left hand to the ground. And we'll switch it up. Let's do the right hand again. Back of that right hand to the mat. Fingertips come back towards the knees. And switch it up. Left hand, left fingertips to the knees. Let's do that one more time each side. Back of that right hand comes to the ground. Right fingers face the knee. And switch it back of the left hand. Left fingers face the knee. Okay, coming back to tabletop. And let's come down to our forearms and our forearm tabletop. So you're going to come down to your forearms. So your elbows are now going to be directly underneath your shoulders. Palms are shoulder width distance as well. They're pressing into the mat. Now, while you're here, your hips are still over your knees. So if you shift it a little forward or back, just try and be conscious and keep your hips over your knees. Now keep a nice neutral spine, so no arching, no rounding right now. And we're going to lift our legs back. So we're going to start by sending that right leg back, straighten that right leg, flex the right foot. Keep it about hip height, and try not to move that pelvis too much. Once you have it there, you're going to externally rotate that leg. So externally rotate so those toes face out to the side. Once you have that, see if you can bend that right knee. Stay here for a breath. And exhale, straighten that right leg. Right toes face the ground. Release that right knee back down to the mat. Top of the right toes. Let's do the other side. So let's extend and straighten that left leg back. Flexing the left toes so they face down to the mat to start. And then we're going to externally rotate that left leg from within the hip socket so the left toes face out. Stay for a breath here. Bend that left knee. One more breath. And exhale, straighten that left leg. Left toes face the ground. And release that left knee and that top of that left foot to the mat. Let's do that one more time each side. So extend that right leg back. Flex those right toes. Externally rotate that right leg. Bend that right knee so it comes back. Stay for a breath here. And exhale, straighten that right leg. Right toes come back down to face the mat. And release that right knee down to the ground. Okay, one more time on that left side. Straighten that left leg back. Externally rotate so those left toes face out. Bend that left knee. Stay for a breath here. And exhale, straighten that left leg. Turn those toes back down. Release that left leg back down to the mat. Okay, now I've got something fun to try. So you're still in your forearm tabletop. Now this is a little bit of a funky pose here. That's okay. So you're going to start by keeping your knees where they are, but this left foot is coming out to the side. So this is my right leg coming out to the side, but I want your left leg to come out to the side. So see if you can keep your left knee where it is and your left foot comes out to the edge of your mat or wider, whatever it is to your capacity. Once you have that, that's going to give you some balance. We're going to straighten that right leg again, just like we had before. We're going to externally rotate as we start to shift our hips, and then release that right foot to the ground so that the inside edge of that right foot comes to the ground. See if you can place your whole right foot to the ground. If your whole right foot doesn't come to the ground, just stay on the side of that right foot. Once you have that, you're going to come up on your right fingertips. Once you're on your right fingertips, use this left palm, come in at an angle just to give you a little bit more of a balance here. So this left arm comes in about 45 degrees. Now you can stay here if this is enough, or you can bring your hand to your hips. While you're here, try and press the outside edge of that right foot down. You can stay here, or if you'd like, you can raise that right arm up. Externally rotate so that right palm faces forward. Stay for a breath wherever you are. And exhale, release that hand back to the hip. Release the right arm back down. Left hand comes back out to shoulder height. Release that right leg back, straighten it, and release the right knee to meet the left knee. Hopefully that made sense. We're going to try on the other side this time. Okay, you'll get a different angle now. So this time we're going to send that right foot out to the right. So the top of the right foot is still down, but you're just shifting out. That's going to give you a little more balance here. Now, once you have that, you're going to extend that left leg back. Externally rotate that left leg. Place the side of that left foot to the mat. If you can place the whole top of that left foot, do that. If not, just the side of the left foot. Once you have that, tent up on your left fingertips. And once you're here, start to open your chest. You can stay here or bring your hand to your hip. And once you're here, you can raise your arm up if you'd like. Externally rotating so that left palm faces forward. Pressing down through the outside edge of that left foot. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, release that left arm down. Straighten that left leg back. Right toes come back in. And release that left knee back down to meet the right. Let's press ourselves back into child's pose. Press your hips back to your heels. Arms straighten out in front of you. Forehead to the mat. Just take a couple deep breaths here. Child's pose is always a pose you can come back to in class if you ever need a little break, need a little breather. You can always come back to child's pose. Just stay for 2 more breaths. Okay, now from your child's pose, begin to lift your forehead up. Walk your hands back to your knees. Come back up into your tabletop. From your tabletop, let's curl our toes under. Let's lift our hips up. Send our hips up and back, straightening the legs, pressing ourselves back into downward facing dog. Now you can bend those knees, you can pedal those legs. It's our first downward facing dog of practice. If downward facing dog is too much for you, you can always come back down to tabletop. Keep your knees bent as much as you need to in downward facing dog. Just keep pressing your hips back to your heels. You can keep pedaling out the feet. Feet can be hips width distance. If you're still tight in the backs of those legs, you can separate your legs a little bit wider than hips width distance. Keep pedaling out just for another breath here. And let's come back to stillness. So come back to stillness, light bend in your knees to start. Take an inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet are hips width distance. Inhale, halfway lift. Place your hands to your shins. Nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Stay in your forward fold for a breath here. And now in our forward fold, you can stay here or you have the option to come into Padahastasana. So what that's going to look like is just like when we were doing tabletop and we put the back of our hand to the ground, we're going to do that with both of our hands. So you can bend your knees as much as you'd like, placing both of the backs of the hands to the ground. And then lift your toes up, send your hands underneath your feet so that ideally the tips of your toes come all the way up to your wrist creases. You want to have ideally the whole back of the hand on the ground, not just the fingertips. So again, you can bend your knees as much as you need to make that happen. And if that's just not going to work today, just stay in your forward fold. Either way, feet should be hips width distance. Staying for one more breath here. And exhale, release. All right, if your hands are underneath your feet, gently release them. You're still in your forward fold. And we're going to roll up just gently all the way to standing, one vertebrae at a time. So press down through your feet and just gently roll up one vertebrae at a time, starting with your low back, letting your arms and head hang heavy. Your head is going to be the last thing to arrive. Whew. All right, let's just shake it out a little bit. Shake it out, shake it out. All right, let's come to the top of the mat. Still no appearance from Coney yet. I wonder where he is. Gotta be around here somewhere. Okay. Feet are hips width distance, heels behind center toes. You're at the top of your mat. Try to actively draw your pelvis down towards the ground. Your tailbone down towards the ground. Maybe lift the frontal hip points of your pelvis up. Arms down by your side, palms face forward. Take an inhale here. And exhale. All right, let's move. Let's inhale, send our arms up, palms face each other. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, place your hands to the shins, nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Place both palms to the mat, bend your knees as much as you need to make that happen. Once both your palms are down at the mat, step your right foot back, step your left foot back, you're in your plank. We're holding this for 3 breaths. If you ever need to, you can always drop to your knees. Either way, you should have your shoulders directly over your wrists. Your fingers are nice and spread, pressing down to the base of each finger in each palm. One more breath here. And now everyone drop to your knees. Shift the torso forward, bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, press your hips into the mat. On your inhale, lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. Exhale, release. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift up into baby cobra. Draw the backs of the shoulder blades together. And exhale, release. Let's curl those back toes under. Press yourself up into tabletop. And then lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. We're here for 3 breaths. Making sure your feet are hips width distance. Your arms are shoulder width distance. You're pressing down to the base of each finger and each palm. Pressing your chest back towards your thighs. You can still have a slight bend in the knees. Stay for one more breath. And exhale. Now inhale, gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms out or forward, coming up, torso up, palms face each other. And exhale, release the hands down to the center of your chest. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms up, chest up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, knees can bend. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, place your palms down, step your right foot back, step your left foot back into plank. We're here just for 2 breaths this time. Again, you can always drop to your knees. Keep pressing those heels back towards the mat. One more breath here. Okay, everyone drop to your knees. Shift your torso forward, bend the elbows over all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Press your hips into the mat. Inhale, lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. Exhale, release your forehead. One more time. Inhale, lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. Keep pressing those feet into the mat. And exhale, release. Let's curl those toes under, press ourselves up into tabletop. Lift our hips up and back into downward facing dog. We're here for 3 breaths again. Try and hug your triceps in to keep your elbows from flaring out. While you hug your triceps in, you're pressing your biceps out. That's going to have an external rotation in your arms. Keep pressing your hips back towards your heels and your chest back towards your thighs. One more breath here. And exhale. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms out and up, chest up, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. All right, getting nice and warmed up. Let's come to a wide-legged stance. Now we're going to break down our Warrior 2 pose just because it's so crucial for the pose that we're going towards. So we're going to start in a wide-legged stance. Feet are still parallel, heels behind those center toes. About 1 leg's distance apart. Place your hands at your thighs to start. I'm going to start on my left side first. So I'm going to externally rotate my left leg so those left toes face the short edge of your mat. Internally rotate these right toes so they come in just slightly. Look for that heel to arch alignment. Bend that front left knee over that front ankle. Wiggle that foot if you need to. Try and keep that knee tracking over those middle toes. Now send your shoulders, align them up with the long edge of your mat. Once you have that, extend both arms out, palms face down, and turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Now let's make this dynamic. Let's straighten our front leg, send both arms up, palms touch. Exhale, release back into Warrior 2. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, Warrior 2. Keep going on your breath, inhaling as you straighten, exhale as you bend. And as that knee bends, make sure that knee is still tracking towards the midline of that front foot. One more time. And exhale back down into Warrior 2. We're going to do our shifts. I don't know what to call these, but we're going to shift from side to side. So we're going to shift, keeping our arms shoulder height. Shift, send that right hand forward. And now send that left hand back. Shifting to the right. And shifting to the left. Keep shifting from side to side. on your breath. One more time. And exhale. All right, come back to warrior two. Now this time we're going to release this left arm inside that left thigh and raise our right arm up. So we're shifting our torso, releasing our right arm down, lifting our left arm up. This is our extended side angle pose. This is what we worked to on Monday, so we're just going to build off this. Keep hugging that outer left thigh in, so don't let that thigh sink out. Keep pinning that in. One more breath here. Exhale, bring your torso back up to warrior two, both arms out. And straighten that left leg, left toes face in. Let's just go right to the other side. So now we're going to drop our hands to our hips to start. Externally rotate this left leg so those left toes face forward. Internally rotate the right toes. Look for that heel to arch alignment. Wiggle that foot if you need to. Bend that right knee over that right ankle. Center or align those shoulders with the long edge of your mat. Extend both arms out, palms face down. Turn your head to look over those right fingertips. Now, let's inhale as we straighten. Both arms come up. Exhale back to warrior two. Inhale as we straighten. And exhale into warrior two. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, warrior two. One more. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, warrior two. Now let's shift from side to side. So I'm going to shift left and shift right. Or shift forward and shift back. I'm not even sure what to call this, but yes, we're shifting. So we're trying to keep our legs just as they are, keeping that knee tracking over those center toes. One more time each side. And come back to center. We're going to shift forward slightly, drop our right arm to the inside edge of that right thigh, lift our left arm up, externally rotate so that left palm faces forward. Keep tracking this right knee to the middle of that right toe. Press back to the outer left foot and pin this right thigh in. Again, don't sink out. Try and pin that right thigh in. One more breath here. And exhale, press down through your feet, lift back up to warrior two. And straighten that leg. Turn both toes in to face forward. And heel to your feet into the center of your mat. All right, well, we found Oliver. He decided to join us. Okay, let's work on our tree pose. It's a great balancing pose. This is one of my favorites because it has so many different variations, and it's going to really reinforce firming this outer thigh in. Okay, so start with your feet hips width distance, heels behind those center toes. Arms to the hips again. Let's shift some weight into that right foot. Now bend this left knee. Externally rotate that left leg out. Try and keep your pelvis still facing forward. And now you have some options. You can bring this foot to your lower right shin. You can raise that left foot up into your calf. Or you can skip the knee and come up all the way into that right thigh. Either way, wherever you are, just stay for a breath. And exhale. Now you can stay here, or if you'd like, bring your hand to the center of your chest. Stay for an inhale. And exhale. Keep firming this outer right thigh in. It's so easy to sink out to it. See if you can firm that in. Press down through that right heel. Staying here or raising your arms up. Growing your branches in your tree. Stay for a breath. And exhale, release the hands to the center of your chest. And release that left leg to meet the right. And just go ahead and release your hands, shake it out a little bit. All right, let's do the other side. So start with your hands at your hips. Shifting weight into that left leg, bending that right knee, externally rotating this right knee out to the side, keeping the pelvis facing forward. You can stay here or bring that right heel into that left calf. You can raise those toes off the ground if you'd like. And if you want, skip that knee, bring that right foot up to that left thigh. Either way, wherever you are, staying for a breath, and keep firming this outer left thigh in. Stay here or bring your hands to the center of your chest. Stay for a breath here. Exhale. And you can stay here, or if you want to grow your branches, your arms come up. into a Y shape. Nice long branches. One more breath here. And exhale, release the hands to the center of your chest. And release that right leg to meet the left. And let's shake it out. So remember, firming that outer thigh in to give you that stability. So remember that. Okay, let's come back to the top of your mat. Feet are hips width distance, heels behind your center toes. We're coming into our chair pose. Another good pose where firming these outer thighs in will give you stability and allow you to sit a little bit longer. So we're going to bend our knees. Start with your hands on your hips as you bend your knees, send your hips back. Make sure you can look down and still see your toes. You still want a nice long spine. You don't want to arch around it. Once you have that, extend both arms forward. But make sure you're not going too far where you're rounding your back. So your arms are just going as forward to keep your back nice and straight. Palms face each other. Stay for an inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale, release into your forward fold. Knees can still bend. Let's inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Place both hands down to the ground. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back into plank. Staying for plank just for a breath here. You can always drop to your knees. Now everyone drop to your knees. Shift your torso forward. Bend the elbows back. Lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl those back toes. Inhale as you lift up into your baby cobra. If you'd like, maybe start to straighten the arms a little bit. Halfway or full. Oh, we have Oliver again saying hi. Lift up one more time into your baby cobra or half or full cobra. And exhale, release down to the mat. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips up into tabletop. And press your heels, your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Now, from here, we're going to lift our right leg up. So from your downward facing dog, you're lifting your right leg up and back. Now, just like when we were on our forearms, you're going to externally rotate that right leg. With that external rotation, then you bend that right knee. So now you're trying to raise that right knee up towards the ceiling, flexing those right toes, stay for a breath, keep pressing that left heel down, send the chest back toward your thighs, and re-straighten that right leg, right toes face the ground. Bend that right knee into your chest, shift the torso forward, release that right foot to the mat. I'm going to switch sides, probably easier to see. So now with your right foot to the mat. Now if you have blocks here, this is where they'll help. So hopefully your blocks or whatever you're using are at the top of the mat. So right now you're in a high lunge with your back, left knee off the ground, and your right knee tracking over that right ankle. You can use your blocks on either side of each foot. If you don't have blocks, come up on your fingertips or your palms. Now we're going to come into our Warrior 2 pose from here. So we're actually going to drop our left heel down. Remember those left toes come forward slightly. Now once you have that, you may need to heel toe your right foot so that you have that heel to arch alignment. See if you can do that. And now are you sinking that right hip out? See if you can firm that right thigh in. Once you have that, we're coming to our extended side angle from this way. So with your feet in that Warrior 2, keep pressing down through that top heel. Press that right arm into the block. Lift your left arm up to the sky. Left palm faces forward. Try and have your left shoulder on top of that right shoulder. Keep pressing back to that left foot. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, stay in the pose here. Press your feet down into the mat. See if you can inhale as you lift up into Warrior 2 pose. Now we're in our Warrior 2 pose. Now if you have your blocks, this is where it's still going to help. So make sure you take one block. And while you're here, place it at the top of your mat, maybe about 6 inches in front of your foot to the outside edge of that right foot. You're still in your Warrior 2 pose, so if you need to readjust, go ahead and do that. And extend both arms out. Now we're going to shift our torso forward, release our arm down to the block. If you don't have a block, you can release it to the floor. And once you have that contact, then we're going to shift our torso forward and press up off that back foot, lifting our back leg up. See if you can lift that back leg up to hip height. Keep flexing those left toes. Raise that left arm up to the sky. Press back to that left heel. Firm that outer right thigh in. Again, don't sink out. Staying for one more breath. Exhale, bending that right knee, coming back down into warrior two. Whew, and then straightening that right leg. Both toes come into center. And release the hands down to your hips. How did that feel? We're going to give it another shot on the other side, but let's add a little twist in between. So, your feet are nice and wide. Make sure your feet are parallel, toes face forward. Start with your hands at your hips. Inhale as you lengthen, maybe a slight back bend, look up. And exhale, we're coming into a forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. As you forward fold, once you get about halfway down, again, if you have your blocks, you can place them underneath your hands, releasing your hands down to either your blocks, your props, your Kleenex boxes, or you can release them to the floor. Now, I know some of us can walk our hands back, but I want you to keep your arms directly underneath your shoulders. So you're either on your props or your hands are pressing down into the mat. Now start to shift some of the weight into your toes and keep firming those outer thighs in. Keep your left arm down and inhale as you raise your right arm up. Exhale, release that right arm down, curl under, see if that right hand can touch the left ankle. Inhale, release back up into your twist. And exhale, right hand curls under, left ankle. One more time, inhale, lift up into your twist. And exhale, release, hand to left ankle. Release that right hand back down to your prop or the floor. Let's switch sides. So pressing that right hand down, inhale as you lift that left arm up this time, left palm faces forward. Exhale, release the left arm down to that right ankle. Inhale, lift up into your twist. Exhale, curl, left hand, right ankle. One more time, inhale, lifting that left arm up. Exhale, curl, touch that right ankle. And release that left hand back down to the ground or the block. Now give a slight bend in your knees. Place both hands at your hips and lift yourself back up. Okay, now from here, heel toe your feet in. And place your blocks up to at least one to the top of your mat. We're going to come back to that. Okay, so now from here, come back to the top of your mat. Now let's inhale as we lift our arms up. Exhale as we forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. Exhale, place your hands down, step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Shift your torso forward. Drop your knees to the ground. Elbows come back, lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Inhale, lift your head up and your chest up into baby cobra. And exhale, release one more time. Inhale, lift up into baby cobra. And exhale, release. Okay, curl those toes under. Press yourself up into tabletop. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Okay, we're coming right to the other side. So lifting that left leg up, flexing those left toes. Externally rotating that left leg so those left toes face out. Try and bend that left knee. And then you're raising that left knee up towards the sky. Still trying to keep your pelvis neutral. Keep pressing your chest back to your thighs, pressing that right heel down. And straighten that left leg, left toes face the ground. Bend that left knee into your chest. Send that left foot forward to the top of the mat. If it doesn't reach there in the first try, just walk it up. Now again, we're coming to warrior 2 feet here. So dropping that right heel down. You're looking for heel to arch alignment. Right toes are slightly forward from the left. Now from here, if you have your blocks, they are perfect to help you tent up here. Now I'm going to keep a block under my left hand to the outside edge of that left foot. If you don't have your block, fingertips or hand. Now from here, we're going to lift our right arm up. Try and stack that right shoulder on top of the left. Keep pressing back to that right thigh, hugging that left thigh in. Staying for a breath here in our extended side angle pose. And exhale. All right, keep pressing those feet into the mat. And inhale as you lift up into your warrior 2 pose. Now from your warrior 2, again, make sure you have a block. Place it at the top of your mat to the tallest height or whatever you're using. And make sure it's just slightly to the outside edge of that left foot. From your warrior two, take a breath here. And exhale. Okay, here we go. Again, firming this outer thigh in. We're going to shift our torso forward. If you want, you can release this right arm to that right thigh. Now release your left hand to the block or to the ground, whatever you're using. Start to shift your torso forward, press up off that back foot, lift that right leg up. Flex those right toes, press that right heel to the back. Right toes should face the side of the room. If you want, lift that right arm up. Try and stack that right shoulder on top of the left. Keep firming that outer left thigh in. Stay for one more breath here. And bend that left knee, gently release the right leg back down. Lift the torso back up into warrior two. Straighten that left leg. Both toes face forward. Release the hands, heel, toes, feet in to hips foot distance. And shake it out a little bit. All right. Let's come onto our backs with our knees bent out in front of us. All right, so we saw Oliver. We haven't seen Coney yet. I think he's hiding somewhere. We're running out of time for him to make an appearance. All right. So we're coming into our bridge pose. So have your feet hips width distance. You want your feet directly below your knees. And if you do have a block, keep one block nearby. Now, with those ankles directly underneath your knees, place your arms down to the side, palms face down. Press your feet into the mat. On your inhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, and your chest up into your bridge pose. Pressing the shoulder blades down into the mat. Maybe start to firm those shoulder blades in towards each other. Arms come underneath. Keep pressing those feet into the mat. Spin those inner thighs in and down to keep the knees from separating. Knees should stay hips width distance. You can still gently press the arms down. Send the chin away from the chest and send the chest towards the chin. One more breath here. And gently release the shoulders, release from the top of your spine. Low back comes down. And just gently stay here for a breath. Now heel toe those feet out to the width of the mat. Let your knees fall into touch. And just gently rock those knees from side to side. This is our constructive rest pose. Always good to come into after any kind of back bends or really anything that we've worked on. Okay, come back into stillness with your knees touching. Separate your knees, heels toe your feet back to hips width distance. We're coming back into bridge pose, but it's going to be supported. So if you have a block, you're going to place it underneath your back, underneath your low back, once we pop on up. If you don't have a block, or if you have like a Kleenex box, that's not going to work, so don't use that. If you don't have anything firm, just don't use it. You're going to have to do bridge pose without the block. But if you do have a block, we're going to place it underneath our low back. And if you're just done with bridge pose, you can just stay in this position with your low back on the ground. So again, have your block ready if you have it. Have your ankles directly below your knees. Palms face down, arms straight. Press your feet into the mat. Inhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up. Now slide that block in and under that low back, so just around the sacrum area. And then release your hands to the ground. If you want to stay up in your bridge pose, you can without a support. Or if you want to stay on the ground, you can do that as well. This is just a supported version of bridge pose here. Now, if you are in bridge pose without a block, go ahead and release down to the mat. So now you're either on a prop or your low back is on the ground. So wherever you are, we're going to lift our legs up, starting with bending our knees. So we're going to bend our knees into our chest, kind of like how we started class. Once the knees are bent, then we're going to straighten our legs up in the air. So again, this is where you're going to tell if that block is really in its the right location. So if it feels a little weird, maybe shift the block around. Now, if you're not using a block, this may be a little more difficult to actually keep your legs up without the block. So we're just going to be here for a couple breaths. Keep flexing those feet, pressing the heels up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. And exhale, bend the knees, gently release the feet to the ground. And heel to those feet out to the width of the mat again. Let the knees fall into touch. And just gently start to rock your knees from side to side. Now the next time your knees fall off to the left side, just let your knees fall down to the side. Let that left knee fall down, right knee follows it, and extend both arms out, palms to the ceiling, either into a T shape or field goal shape, whatever works for your environment. You can stay here, or if you'd like, you can put the outside edge of that left ankle on top of that right knee, just for a slightly deeper stretch. Gaze is towards the ceiling, or you can turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. A nice spinal twist. Stay for one more breath here. And exhale, release that ankle on top of the knee if you have it. Gaze comes back up to center. Both knees come back up. And you're shifting off to the right side and letting your knees fall off to the right. With your knees off to the right, that outer right ankle can come on top of that left knee. Again, if that doesn't happen, don't worry about it, just an option. And then your gaze can either be up toward the ceiling, or you can look over those left fingertips for a slightly deeper spinal twist here. Staying for 2 breaths. One more breath here. Okay, release that ankle from on top of the knee if you have it. Both knees come back up. Let's hug our knees back into our chest for one nice last little squeeze here. Give a nice little squeeze. Hug those knees into your chest. And exhale, extend the legs, extend the arms overhead. Legs are straight, arms are overhead. Try and draw your fingertips away from your feet, toes away from your fingertips. Nice long stretch here. And exhale, release everything. We're coming into our Chapasana pose. Arms come down by your sides. Feet or hips width distance or wider, letting the knees and the feet fall out to the sides. Palms face up. Gaze starts to soften or your eyes can close. Just begin to melt into your mat here. Just take time to release any last little bit of tension you may have. Maybe you're still curling your toes slightly or your fingers. Perhaps your top and bottom jaw are clenched. You can release that. Let your shoulders be heavy. Okay, begin to bring some awareness back into your body. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. Come back to stillness for one last breath here. Now turn on to one side, gently bending your knees, keeping your feet on the ground. Turn on to one side. Bringing your top knee to meet your bottom, your top arm to meet your bottom arm. Stay for a breath here. Try to keep your eyes closed or your gaze softened as you use your top arm to press yourself up. We're all coming up to a cross-legged seated position to complete our practice. In your cross-legged seat, your palms can either be on top of your knees, palms can face up, or you can bring your hands into the center of your chest. Thank you for practicing with me today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. Thank you all so much for joining me in practice today. I hope you enjoyed it. I really appreciate the feedback. It looks like the stream went without a hitch today, which is great. So thanks for the little comments at the beginning. I do see Konini. He is near me. He's sleeping right now. But if you would like to stay for a second, I'll bring up some pictures of him behind me. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining me in practice. The next practice will be Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so you can join me then. Leave any comments you may have in the chat. You can always email me as well. All my contact info is in the video description. So again, thank you. Peace. Okay, so if you are sticking around, let's get some shots of the birthday boy. Okay, so here's Coney. Let's see if I can get out of the way here. So it's his third birthday. Let's see, this is a nice picture of him. This is probably one of the most embarrassing pictures I could find of him with his face all nice and scrunched up. And here's after, probably soon after we got him. He may have been maybe 8 to 12 weeks around that time. Let's see if I don't want to wake him up, but I do want to see if he wants to make an appearance. Hey, Coney. Coney, do you want to say hi? Oh, he is sleeping. I don't know if he wants to say hi. Conini, come here. Okay, he's getting up. He's coming. Do you want to say hi, birthday boy? It's so easy to remember because his birthday is tax day. Even though it's delayed this year, he still has his birthday. Okay, he's just gonna sit down here. Happy birthday, buddy. It's always a good time of any to appreciate your pets and your creatures and your family members and anyone that may be living with you. Um, it's hard to, in this situation now where we're all home a lot more, it's really easy to get frustrated at each other or really go to our wits' end. But sometimes it's good to just appreciate those who are around you, whether they be kids, adults, parents, cats, dogs, fish, whatever you may have. So that's what I have to leave you with today. So happy birthday, Coney. Again, thank you for joining me in practice. Have a wonderful evening.